I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars Mystery Shopping Report. I'll read this shopping report as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived mid-morning and was greeted by a salesman who was standing up front about to light a cigar. The salesman greeted me with a handshake, laid his cigar down on a lockbox attached to the front of the building. He introduced himself as Claude and asked for my name as well. He then asked if there was anything he could help me find today. I said, well, with this rain and flooding, I'm realizing I want something that'll lift me up a little bit so I won't get stuck. He suggested a Jeep Wrangler. I said, that's what I was thinking too. He showed me a few that were right up front and said, I really like this one. It was a new Jeep 2024, and this was a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4x4 in black with an MSRP of $49,095. The Maroni label was affixed properly. There was no addendum on the vehicle. Despite this, Claude mentioned that it had some aftermarket upgrades, so it was priced a little higher, and asked if that was okay with me. It's called a trial close. Always closed. The salespeople, they're always closing.
ABC.
ABC. I said, yeah, I think so, but I'd like to see what it would cost me out the door. He suggested to get the keys so I could see it and drive it. He went inside for a few minutes to return with the keys. He mentioned he was looking forward to a break, and he was going on a drive, so this was perfect timing. We headed out down 441. He navigated the roads while making a lot of conversation. Sounds like a good salesman. I let him know up front that my husband won't come in with me and we won't pay over addendums. So there's a little worry now for Claude. Claude told me the vehicle had aftermarket items which raised the price. Remember, there was no addendum where they should have put those items if they're going to charge them, but now we find out about it. And he says wheels, rims, and a winch that's totaled about $7,000. Whoa! He asked if I was okay with that. It was another trial close. I shrugged. I didn't want to test drive another vehicle or waste more time. We arrived back at the dealership, headed inside, where he asked for my license and confirmed my address. Claude asked, what brings you all the way down here? I said, well, for starters, I still don't have any electricity. So I decided to come down to the Hard Rock. That's the Seminole Indian casino, if you're not familiar, in South Florida, the Hard Rock. Agent Knight said, and I'm picking my family up from the airport shortly, so that's why I'm here. That's why it'll work out just fine. He then asked what vehicle I was driving and if I'd like to trade it in. I said, no, I'm keeping it. It gets great gas mileage. Claude said he understood, and then asked when I planned on buying. And I said, well, if all goes well and the numbers are reasonable, today. And if you don't give them that information, you'll never get the game playing, because they'll if they think they can sell a car today, that will derive a greater amount of action and a lower price.
Because that's what the manager's going to ask. The first thing is she buying today?
Exactly.
And you go, yes, boss, she's buying today. She's told me.
That's the hot button. You got to say that. He wanted to know how I was going to get two vehicles home. Very astute of him. He might have been a little suspicious. I said, my family's flying in. One of them can drive it for me. He then excused himself to talk to a sales manager and get some numbers. I waited for a while and then stood up. He looked back and saw me and asked, you aren't leaving on me now, are you? I said, no, I was just looking for the restroom. He directed me toward the restroom, asked if I would like some water. I returned to the showroom and waited for a while, roaming the showroom floor. He kept coming out saying his manager was crunching some numbers for me. And it takes time. I mean, they must have been moderately busy. Finally, after about 25 minutes, he returned with a proposal. The market value selling price was $61,643, $12,548 over MSRP.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. Now, think about this. Jeeps have cobwebs on them now. They can't sell them. The inventories are huge. Stellantis that builds the Jeep, the manufacturer, is hanging by a thread financially. They are pushing big incentives to their dealers to clear the lots because the dealers aren't ordering more cars from Stellantis because they have too many cars parked on the lot. And here we are with the Jeep dealer in Hollywood, Florida, asking $12,548 over sticker price. Okay. That's just a scenario. Then they took off a $5,000 discount before
Air quotes discount.
$5,000 discount before adding another $1,397 for installed packages, low jack and edge. Unbelievable. $1,881.48 in fees. Nearly all junk were added. So this is huge. I mean, this is huge.
Insane.
And in view of the fact it's for a struggling manufacturer and by definition a struggling dealer to go for the jugular and looking for thousands and thousands of dollars over a sticker, it was like it was 3 years ago during the height of the COVID issue.
Yeah.
Shortage of supply where they could have gotten $12,000 over. But today, the cars are not selling over sticker, especially for Stellantis and Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. I was shocked at how high the price was of this vehicle because the window sticker already showed aftermarket items. Claude explained there were additional aftermarket items totaling over $7,000, and that's how the price got all the way up to $61,000 with a $5,000 discount. I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah.
I thanked him for trying, so there was no way I was paying that much for the Jeep. He asked, let me ask you this. What price would make you drive off with this Jeep today? Now, this is the question that is burned into the brain of every salesperson because salespeople and the way they're trained today and the manager, it's the puppet thing. The salesman's the puppet and the sales manager pulls the strings. And you got to say, when you go back to see the manager, the man, and you're the salesman, you have to have asked that question, what will you buy the car for today? And Agent Lightning asked the question, and he asked the question. Agent Lightning answered it. I said, if I was around $55,000 out the door, I'd do business right now. So he got his answer, and now he wants to run back to see his manager. He wrote those numbers at the bottom of the sheet, and this is really old school right here, and asked me to sign confirming I would do business if they could meet that price. Now, there's nothing legal about that, but it's a mental commitment, and the buyer, Agent Lightning, may feel legally bound. I mean, when someone asks you to initial and sign something to assure you that this is what they would pay, maybe they do obligate themselves mentally.
I don't know. I mean, we see it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not as often, but it's really old school.
Now, this is unusual.
Psychological trick.
Yeah, this is unusual. Anyway, Agent Lightning signed it and made that commitment. So that Claude had to be thrilled. So he must dance back to the manager, returned a few minutes later and said that after speaking with his manager, Claude said she informed him there were quite a few more aftermarket items added to the vehicle, and there was no way they could go that low. Okay. Maybe an additional $1,000 off, but that'd be the best way, the best they could do. I thanked him, said that wasn't going to happen. I stood up and left and said, he said, let me know you have my card. And there you have it. And now we got to vote.
So I'll give him a D.
I'm going to say it's a D grade for that one.
Nancy?
My vote for Hollywood Dodge, F.
I'm going to give him a D, and that's low for me to give a D. The dealers are existing in a dream world as if nothing's going on. At what point will the other shoe fall? Hi, this is Earl Stewart. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to be notified of new videos that we post to our YouTube channel, simply click on the subscribe button and the bell icon in the lower right-hand side of the screen.